Today we've got an awesome experiment for you, some biology, which involves dissecting a flower.
You're going to need a bunch of flowers, a magnifying glass, a pair of scissors, and some rubber gloves. Use the magnifying glass to investigate your flowers. See what features you can spot. Now take your scissors and gently trim off one of the flower heads. Like so. Now let's take apart our flower. Remove one of the petals. And again, look through the magnifying glass. The outer part of your flower consists of things called sepals, and the inner ring is of petals. Most flowers of these look very different, but in these lilies, they look quite identical. You'll notice that there's a little bit of pollen already on your flower petals. You can also see parts of the petal that look like little veins. These help to transport water and nutrients along the length of the petal to keep the flower healthy. Now why don't we look inside the flower? This is the part that we call the stamen. This is technically the male part of the flower. Put your rubber glove on and use it to remove the petals from around the stamen. You'll need the glove because especially on these flowers, the pollen that's on the stamen can really stain your hands and your clothes. Look closely with your magnifying glass. This centre part of the stamen is called an anther. The parts around it are called filaments. Let's take one of the filaments off and break it open to see what we can find. You can see that they almost look like seed pods. This is because this is the part of the flower that contains pollen, which is picked up by bees and other insects and transported around to help to fertilise other plants and continue them growing. The centre section of the flower, this long stalk, is called the pistil, which is technically the female part of the flower. When the flowers are fresh, the end of it, which we call the stigma, will be nice and sticky for catching pollen. We have the filaments, the stigma, the petals, and the leaves.
A self-extinguishing candle.
You're going to need a paper clip, some scissors, a cotton bud, a stick of glue gun glue, a metal bottle cap, a clothes peg, a glue gun, a candle, and a lighter. Take your paper clip and bend it out like this. You need to try and make one long straight paper clip. Then next take your cotton bud and snip off the fluffy ends. You should end up with one small plastic tube. Use your lighter to heat up one end of your paper clip. Do be careful at this step and don't be afraid to ask an adult for help. Carefully push it through one end of your cotton bud, like this. Then use a pair of pliers, or just your fingers, to bend your paperclip into a new shape. Bend it over like so. Now take your glue gun and put a small amount of glue into the hinge of your clothes peg. Insert the cotton bud and let the glue dry. Next take your bottle cap, put some glue onto the top side and stick your paperclip onto the glue, like so. Squeeze your clothes peg onto your candle like this, near the top. Position your bottle cap in the right spot and then slot it through the hole that you've made in the cotton bud. The paperclip will act as a hinge, which helps the bottle cap to swing. so make sure that the hinge is nice and loose. Put the other end of your paperclip on top of the candle like so that it sits near the side. Now light your candle. As the candle burns down, the other end of your paperclip should fall down with the level of the candle, and as it does so, the bottle cap will fall, like so. This is a really nifty little gadget to make for your home. Now, I'd like to show you a little trick with a bucket. Simply fill it with water. Then find a nice open area, get a good grip on the bucket, have a few stretches, and then swing it round like so. Now you'd expect by swinging around a bucket of water, all of the water would pour out, but it doesn't. Why is this? Well, by swinging the bucket around in a circle, you're using centrifugal force. If you take a closer look, you'll see that I've only spilled a tiny amount of water. Not bad. For our next experiment, you'll need some cardboard, a toothpick, a permanent marker, a glue gun, some coins, and a pair of scissors. Take your cardboard and your coins and lay them out equally like this. Use your marker to draw a shape around them like so. Try to make the tracing as round as you can. Then cut out your shape. Ideally, you want each of the three circular parts to match, as of course it's very important that your fidget spinner is balanced. Once you've cut out your shape, trace around it and cut that out. Again, try to make sure that both of these cutouts match in shape and size to ensure that your fidget spinner is balanced. Great. Now, bring back your 3 coins. Put a good amount of glue onto one of the cutouts and stick your coins in place. Try to make sure you use the same amount of glue on each of the coins, as of course this will affect the balance of your fidget spinner. Great. Make sure that your glue has adequate time to dry. Now we need to work out how we can spin it properly. We need to add a piece to the centre. So, draw a small circle on your cardboard and carefully cut it out. You can use a craft knife instead of scissors if you prefer. Just be sure to have an adult helping you. Once you've cut out your circle, place it back onto your card and cut around it to make a second circle. Take your cocktail stick and push it through the very centre of your main cutout. Push it right through to the other end. Then push one of your circles through the top, like so. Make sure that it turns round properly. Then push the cocktail stick back through to the other side. Push your other circle cutout on top of that. And again, check that it spins properly. Now use your scissors to very carefully cut as close as you can to the main body of your fidget spinner. Do this on both sides. Then add a small amount of glue on top of the cocktail stick to make sure that it holds in place and to stop yourself from getting any splinters. Give that a bit of time to dry, grip your circles, and there you go. You have your own homemade fidget spinner. Our fidget spinner isn't made with ball bearings, which is the simple ingredient which helps to make real fidget spinners spin for so long. However, this one is a great alternative and is much cheaper in the long run. Plus, when you're finally done with your fidget spinner, you've got a little bit of pocket money hidden inside. All you're going to need are a few magnets. For the first experiment, let's use some Coke cans. Place some on top of each other like this, and then another in the middle. Take a thin piece of wood like this and place one of your magnets on top. Then, stick a magnetic coin onto the underside of your wood, and then another coin onto that, and another and another. See how many you can put in one row. Can you rotate the coins like this? Why don't you try slowly dragging the magnet along the surface like so? See what happens. Try and pull the magnet away from the wood and see if the coins will stay in place. Now let's try another one. With a thinner piece of wood, balance 4 coins on top of each other like this, place them directly under the magnet, and see how strong the magnetic field is. It looks like the coins are levitating. It's a great, simple piece of science. Isn't that cool? If you don't see the magnet, it's a really cool optical illusion. You can try and rotate the coins like this. Be careful, or they might get stuck. Now let's see what happens if we add a few paper clips. Loop them together into a chain like so. Then bend the one on the end into an L shape and carefully hold the last paper clip towards the magnet. It will hold the chain in mid-air. Even the slightest knock can make it fall down. You can also try holding the chain above the magnet like this and see what happens when the end of the chain gets too close to the magnet. You're going to need some coloured beads, some tape, a mirrored surface, some black card, some tracing paper, a pair of scissors, cling film, and a cardboard tube. Firstly, we need to cut down our mirrored surface to fit it inside our cardboard tube. Cut 3 strips that are the same size, put them face down on the tabletop, and then use the tape to stick them together. Make sure there's a slight gap in between each piece. This will mean that you can then fold them over, like this. Carefully fold them into a triangle shape and stick them into place. You should be able to slot it inside your cardboard tube, just like this. Once you're sure it fits, use a sharp knife to cut a small section off the end of your tube, about 1 or 2 inches in length. Then take some of your cling film, stretch it over the top of your long piece of cardboard tube, and then use some tape to hold it in place. Then replace the small section of card and use more tape to fasten it. Open up your bag of coloured beads and tip some inside. They should sit comfortably on top of your cling film, like this. Then stretch some more cling film over the top and use more tape to hold it in place. Make sure that it's stretched nice and tight. If you look through the tube, you can see the beads. Now fetch your tracing paper. Cut out a circle the same size as your cardboard tube. Then slot it inside the tube and use your scissors or another long object to place it right down the very end. Then insert your mirrored triangle. Place your tube on top of some black card and trace around it with a sharp knife or a pair of scissors. Cut out the circle, then fold it in half and use a pair of scissors to cut a small circle in the centre, like this. This will make the view piece for your kaleidoscope. Stick the circle on the other end of your cardboard tube like this, using some tape or some glue to hold it in place. And now you've got your kaleidoscope. If you like, you can stick some card on the outside to neaten it, like this. Then simply point it towards a light, put it to your eye, and you have a fully functional kaleidoscope. Fantastic! You can make some amazing shapes and amazing colours. You're going to need some transparent red plastic, a piece of paper, a pair of glasses, a crayon, a highlighter, and a red ballpoint pen. You'll also need a pair of scissors. Take your glasses and your red plastic. Use your marker pen to draw around the lenses of your glasses. I found these glasses in a costume shop. Then carefully cut around the lens shapes. My suggestion would be to cut them out slightly too large at the start, because you can always trim them down later on. Pop them inside your glasses to see if they fit. If they do, great! Next, use your crayon to lightly write a secret message. In this case, I think we'll write, "I love lab." Then use your ballpoint pen to scribble over your secret message in a few different directions. The aim is to try and hide the message if you can. Then do one more layer with your highlighter. Now if I put on my glasses, suddenly the message is revealed. That's because the red in the plastic helps to filter out the red ink in the pen, which makes the crayon suddenly visible. This is a great way of writing secret messages to your friends. Brilliant! Now you're going to need some black card, a pair of scissors, a marker pen, a glue gun, a pair of glasses, and some mirror material. First, take your glasses and your mirror material. Put some glue onto the bridge of your glasses, like so. Put the mirror material into place and add a bit more glue until it holds. You want them to sit roughly at a 45-degree angle to the lenses. Repeat this process with your second piece of mirror material. use your scissors to trim off some of the corners from your mirror material. After all, you do need to wear the glasses. That should work. Now we'll need our black card. Sit the mirror material flat on the card and place some glue along the bottom edge. Now we need to trim around like so. Cut a few lines parallel to your mirror material. Once again, trim in near the bridge of your glasses so that your nose can fit through. Then trim out the triangle from the middle. You'll end up with two pieces of black material, like so. Then take some more card and trace out a shape like this one. Cut out your shape, make sure that it fits on top of your glasses, turn your glasses upside down, and then use some more glue to fix it into place. It's always important with hot glue to make sure that you keep your fingers well away and give it time to dry. Get some more glue right into the very edges of the card to make sure that it stays in place. It will also help to block out light. Then simply go around this cutout with scissors to neaten it up. I think you'll agree, it's already looking very stylish. Now we just need to add the end piece to our glasses. Take a couple of squares of your black card and using your glue gun, stick them into place. Make sure to keep pressure on the glue to hold the card in place while the glue dries. We're going to add another couple of small pieces of card just inside here. This will help plug up any holes. Now, just for fun, we're going to stick some googly eyes onto the end of our glasses. And finally, one last piece of card on the centre to block out any last bits of light. Now we can hit the streets. These glasses are designed to help you see what's coming, to help you see round corners, and they can work as excellent spy glasses. With these glasses on, no one will be able to sneak up on you ever again.
Today we're going to show you a couple of experiments all about crystals.
You're going to need a plate, some string, bicarbonate of soda, 2 jars, a spoon, and some warm water. Place the jars onto your plate like so, and add a healthy amount of bicarbonate of soda to each jar. Pour in some water until the jar is about half full. Then use your spoon to mix the solution together. Once that's done, take your wool, remove a few short pieces, dip them into your solution, and then suspend the string from one jar into the other. Make a dent in the middle with your finger like so that you see a noticeable dip. You can pinch it together into a V shape like this. Let's add a second string, just for safety. We can then see what the difference is. That looks right to me. Maybe just make a slightly longer dip in the second string. Great. Now let's put the plate aside and let it sit for a few days. Place it back on the table and look what's happened. The solution has been dragged along the string by something we call capillary action. As the solution has dripped from the string onto the plate, crystals have formed, not only on the plate and along the length of the string, but in a point dripping down off the string. These are called stalactites and stalagmites. Isn't that crazy? How cool! You'll need some laundry clips, some wooden skewers, a spoon, a jar, some food dye, water, sugar, and a saucepan. Pour some water into your saucepan. Heat it up and add some sugar. You need about the same amount of sugar as you had water. The idea is to make a very sugary solution. Heat the pan up and get your mixture bubbling. Once all the sugar has disappeared, place the saucepan onto a wooden surface. Take your jar, add a few drops of food colouring, and then carefully add your sugar water to the jar. This is going to be quite hot, so do be careful. Get some more sugar and sprinkle it onto the surface. Dab it onto your skewer, use your laundry peg to hold it in place like so, and then very carefully remove the jar and put it to one side for a few days. Then bring it back and carefully remove the wooden skewer. You'll see that the coloured sugar mixture has crystallised on the skewer. If we take a spoon, we can scoop out some of the mixture and have a look. It's formed into some amazing sugar crystals. You can try this with all sorts of different colours of food dye. Try using different concentrations of sugar and water to see what differences it makes. The mixture is actually very hard to scrape out of the jar. It's also very sticky. We tried this again with green food dye and a slightly higher concentration of sugar. Isn't that cool? What do you think it looks like? Almost like kryptonite. Don't worry, Superman, nothing to be afraid of. The great thing about this is it's also completely edible. You're going to need lots of pieces of cardboard like this. You'll need some different sized coins, a pencil, a pen, a ruler, a pair of scissors, a craft knife, and a glue gun. Take some of your card and cut it in half, like so. Then get your coins ready. Draw a line along with your ruler like this. You'll need to make several marks at regular intervals. Make sure each interval is bigger than your coin, and then there's a gap in between each interval that's the same size. It should look something like this. Now it's time to get that craft knife out again. Trim along the edges to make it nice and neat. Then cut out the spaces like this that you marked around your coins. They should all be slightly different sizes. Time for your glue gun. Take a smaller piece of card and place glue along one edge. Then stick it in place on the edge of your first piece, like this. Repeat the process and stick this piece of card down on the line nearest the holes for the coins. Now let's carry on. You'll need 2 L-shaped pieces of card and 2 other pieces of card that can fit along the 2 edges. Put some hot glue along the edge of one of your L shapes and stick it down. And use some more glue to stick the other L shape onto the opposite side. When that's secure, use some more glue to finally put the last bigger piece of card into place. This will create the backing for your machine. Now take a smaller piece of card again and mark along at 3 regular intervals. You'll need to make these triangular pieces of card as well. It's a fairly simple wedge shape. Stick them into place along your 3 lines and then slot them into your machine, like this. This is the mechanism that will help to separate your coins. Fasten another piece of card down the front with some glue. This will stop your coins escaping. Then get your first piece and stick it into place at an angle like this, so that the end of it reaches into your last compartment. Get that glue gun out again and fasten another piece of card in place. Now let's make our top piece. We'll label it like this. Get lots of glue going around the edge to make sure that nothing comes off. And fasten it into place. On the front, we'll mark out our coins. I've got 50p's, 10p's, 20p's and 5p's. Now all that's left is to slot the coins into the machine. Because of the order of the holes in your coin sorting machine, the smallest coin falls through the smallest hole, and the largest coin won't fall through any of the holes and will instead roll all the way down to the end, to the final compartment. It's important to order the coins from largest to smallest so that they work.